And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth TV Live here on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So this is the usual time. There may be some changes in the schedule here happening very soon, as I'm just adjusting my own schedule, but we'll keep you guys in the know should that happen. So we are going to be doing a transmission with Adronis here very shortly, where Adronis is going to be talking more about humanity's cosmic plan. It's going to be a very exciting presentation that Adronis is going to be bringing forward. Glad you're all here to experience it. We're also going to be doing some Q&A after the presentation, and we're going to be moving on into some distance healing as well too. So first and foremost, we'll go ahead and we'll start off with some announcements. And of course, the promo code SUMMER20 is available to get 20% off everything store-wide on Etherics.co, so you can go to the website there. You can also check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/EthericsStore. The promo code SUMMER20, again, is good for one more day, and that is for everything. So I basically have put up what's known as the Etherics Safeguard technology, which involves a magnet and stickers that you can place on your vehicle. For example, if you have a gasoline vehicle, then you can basically put a sticker on the fuel tank, and that's going to help to neutralize and transmute all of the harmful effects of the gasoline, and being able to transmit it to basically become harmless when the exhaust is basically spewing out of your vehicle. There's not going to be any harmful tendencies pertaining to that exhaust, as the spirit codes that are contained inside the Etherics magnet or sticker, whichever one you put on your gas tank, basically is neutralizing and transmuting those frequencies. So everything that represents that of harmfulness often comes with what's known as vertical waves, and these vertical waves or vertical vibrational waves are basically what carries harmful frequencies. So a lot of the harmful frequencies that are contained inside gasoline, whether it's diesel or anything of that nature, is basically being neutralized. And as it is being neutralized, it's actually being reformatted vibrationally to actually be beneficial. So basically that is something that is going to help significantly with people who have gas-powered vehicles, and also it helps to neutralize electromagnetic frequencies, extreme low frequencies as well too, working with the Etherics safeguards. So you'll find the Etherics safeguards on the website. And again, this is helping to work with your home. It's helping to work with your vehicle. This is something you can even place upon yourself should you wish as well too. But it's an environmental transformer. It's an environmental transmuter. Not to mention we have, again, bed kits, the Prana bed kit, the Taurus bed kit. We have the ether mats, the yoga mats. We have clothing and accessories. All of them are just bringing about such profound beneficial results. I'm still getting quite a few testimonials from people as well too, who are trying out the bed kits, who are trying out the clothing, who are trying out the ether mats. It's really just going so well. And so I'm just very, very happy to share this incredible technology with many of you, because there is a free samples page on Etherics.co that you can check out if you're not too sure. If you want to look at something before you buy it, then again, that's exactly why we have the free samples page there. You can go to the free samples and you can download one of our newest samples, is the Solar Plexus Energizer. So it's this beautiful form of art that you can print out. You can even shrink it down as well too if you want to put it like on a piece of photo paper and just place that on your solar plexus, and you're just going to feel the effects almost immediately, and it just helps to energize the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus is basically what we use, for example, on the prana bed kit, to help work with your prana to distribute it throughout the entire body, so that you're healing your organs, you're healing your glands, you're healing your cellular body, you're healing your bodily systems, you're healing your energy system. It's very powerful. It's very wonderful. It's a beautiful feeling. I actually have a Taurus bed sham right here as I'm doing the broadcast today. So I got this nice Taurus bed sham, got a little pillow inside of it, and it's doing wonders. It's like, I was actually just sitting on my couch. I have my Taurus bed blanket on the couch. I have this on the couch. Like, I really just don't want to get up. I'm just so comfortable, but I know I got to do this broadcast today, so. So go ahead and check that out. That again is on Etherics.co. You can also follow us on Facebook, Etherics Store, and Instagram.com, Etherics Store as well too. Okay, and let me see. And everything here on the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel is backed up onto our Odyssey channel, odyssey.com/@NewEarthTeachings. Don't forget to also check out newearthteachings.com if you want to do a private session with me or with Adronis. You can go to newearthteachings.com and you can get a private one-to-one session there with me. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and begin today's broadcast. So it's just going to take me a moment or two just to bring Adronis in. Once he comes through, he will talk about the subject of humanity's cosmic plan. So I will go ahead and bring him in. Again, hello everybody. Glad you're here. Welcome. And if you do have questions, I would say just save those questions for after the presentation, and I will go on to the chat and take any questions that you guys have regarding the cosmic plan or any other questions that you have. It's basically any questions that are kind of semi-personal or general in nature. All right? Okay, so here we go, and we will begin. Terra Soul Star Sirius Adronis We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all of you to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius, so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. Humanity's cosmic plan. Now, as we have talked about before, we have elaborated somewhat to the degree about how this is going to come about, as we have talked about the nature of what you term as preparing for first contact. That there will be a time, moving forward not too far from your immediate future, where you will start to develop yourselves in becoming a, shall we say, upstart, relating to interstellar travel, interstellar integration. Now again, there's still a little bit more work here that needs to be done on the planet before this is fully integrated. But what we are saying is that as you start to make your way past a planetary civilization and into an interstellar civilization, you are going to create a greater amount of facilities, platforms, installations, education centers, etc., that will start to go beyond your Earth. There will be what's known as orbital installations, orbital platforms. There will be, again, new spacecraft design that will not be as crude as your modern rockets or space shuttles, commonly through what your so-called space agencies are utilizing. These particular types of vessels will be much more in alignment with the 0-point field, and that you will work together in utilizing these particular forms of levitation, anti-gravitational technology, as you commonly may term it, and being able to utilize these particular conveyances bit by bit, more and more, as you start to graduate into a greater technological boom period. And that greater technological boom period is on the way. So it is going to bring about an introduction to, shall we say, new levels of travel. Those travels will start off somewhat small, where you will be able to utilize new forms of technology that will enable you to go across the earth through very, very short time intervals. So this may again represent new types of anti-gravitational craft. Some of you may also start with what you would know as magnetic technology or magnetic levitation, and being able to build certain train systems that will go from one side of a continent to another in a very short duration. And there will be again continued upgrades, continued advancements, continued boom periods relating to technology altogether, where you will start to notice the introduction, the unveiling of anti-gravitational spacecraft. And as this anti-gravitational spacecraft, quite commonly to what you would refer in similarity to your TR-3Bs, will become a lot more mainstream, we will say. That will become a little bit more easily introduced to your culture. Now, there has been some discussion, and there has been some feedback from many of you to us, even if this isn't something that's verbal, nonetheless we feel the intention behind it, about the year of what you term as 2027, where there has been discussions by another representing a possibility for a larger contact to take place around the time of 2027. We would say that this is always a probability. We can never guarantee such a thing. But again, there really is the idea that as you start to move much more into the later 2020s, the idea of you realizing more of the connections between extraterrestrial life and terrestrial life will become a lot more well known. It is going to be a subject of discussion for many, because many of you are going to start moving much more into that interest due to the technological hike, the technological boom period that you are going to be experiencing. So we are somewhat in agreement with that. It is a probability, it is a possibility, but again, we cannot 100% guarantee it, because everything is indeed changeable when it comes to the natures of prediction. So we know that there are many of you who are excited about this announcement, because it was another who gave this announcement between your years of 2026 and 2027, that there would be again an opportunity for a open form of contact to come together. Now, we cannot really say an open form of contact as it pertains to, shall we say, your star ancestors coming to you and therefore introducing themselves. We would say that might be a little bit premature. But we would say that there are certain opportunities for contact in a certain degree to happen. It will leave much more of a curiosity again. We're not here to basically just introduce ourselves to you when you know you're not ready for it yet. So we would say that even though there are announcements like that do come about, we would say just utilize some particular type of discernment relating to those types of announcements, because that at some time can be a little bit premature. As we have stated, and as we have always stated, you will be making contact with us. It's not going to be the other way around. So therefore, as you start to make contact with us, we will therefore get the cue from you, and we will therefore reciprocate that state of contact. Now, we will give you little teasing spots here and there. We will let ourselves be known at certain times, at certain intervals, to where it is appropriate, so that it, in that sense, influences your curiosity a great deal further. It is when you start to become, as you would say, starbound. It is when you start to become a little bit more interstellar as a civilization that such occurrences like that will take form. It's very much as we have discussed previously pertaining to the nature of first contact, where you will therefore have the technology, you will be able to perform, shall we say, interstellar travel to your own moon, and you will be able to colonize certain aspects of the moon there. You will have orbital platforms around your Earth. You will conduct a great deal of study throughout the interstellar space between the Earth and the Moon, and between that time you will discover quite a bit of phenomena that again is piquing your interest. And it is very much that is going to lead into the genesis of an opportunity representing the idea of first contact. So it's not going to happen too soon, especially when you're still at the level of transition. You're watching an old world fall apart, and you're watching a new world being born directly in front of you, right before your eyes. As an old pillar falls, a new pillar rises to instantly take its place. And that's what you have to see right now. You have to watch the old ways of life fall apart. Everything that can no longer hold its own weight, something that cannot stand the test of time, something that was based on the idea of corruption, needs to fall. And that's what you're witnessing right now. You're watching an overhaul take place. You're watching a cleanup transpire. And so we're not looking to interfere in any particular shape, way, or form during this crucial time for yourselves, because you are watching everything unfold as it needs to, watching the old die away and watching the new rise and taking its place. This is an essential time. And we have also stated that the 2020s primarily represents this transitional time. It is a cleanup decade, as we have talked about. It's not about you being able to skip that. You need to experience everything that's falling apart and everything that's rising up to take its place. And the 2020s decade is essential for that change. It's more so when you start to move into the 2030s. When you come much more into the 2030s, that's where there's a time of greater renewal. A greater renewal takes place. This is what we talk about, is that you start to move over that technological boom period and you start to develop interstellar technology. And that interstellar technology is again what's going to enable you to again look into the type of creations technologically pertaining to orbital platforms, pertaining to the probability of the colonization of a certain portion of the moon, which again is being left out for you for that to happen. So again, as we have talked about as well, that the moon is under new management. And through this form of new management, there will be opportunities for the humans of the earth to come upon certain areas of the moon. It will be discussed much more in privacy with certain officials that will therefore enable a certain amount of the moon to be colonized by humanity. Not all of it, but certain amounts of it at a particular time. Now, this is still going to be a ways down the road before that does take place. But again, as you experienced back in your 1960s with the thrill, with the excitement of the feeling of landing a man on the moon. Now, of course, we understand that much of that in that sense was much more for entertainment purposes. But nonetheless, that feeling of knowing, well, we can actually have somebody on the moon, or we can have somebody on Mars, etc., will be something that will be much more of an actual discussion and an actual event that will take place. But let's fast forward a little bit more. Let's go into the time to where you actually do become an inaugurated cosmic race. Adronis, what is it going to look like? What are we going to be doing? How is the idea of this contact post-haste going to take place? When we look at first contact, when it's already happened, well, what's going to happen after that? Well, it is an entirely new integration of society. Your world will literally change overnight. It will shift into something so profound that it will enable your earth to become a shared earth. It will become an informed earth, because a lot of your secrets are going to be revealed about where you came from. Now, that's not going to be fed to you all at once, but it is going to be a period where you're going to learn a lot more about your history. Because there will be representatives coming upon your planet that are not naturally born on your planet that will be filling you in on many of the details. This will be brought forward in certain levels of official capacity, but it is very, very much important that when we reveal this type of information to you, it's important that the entire world is able to hear it. There is no suppression, there is no restriction, there is no censorship. And this is exactly why we are very much, as it were, biding our time. When we share this information with you, there can't be any censorship. There can't be any restrictions. There can't be any conditions, because we simply won't do it if there are. We want to be able to talk to every single one of you. We don't want to just talk to a few of you. This is exactly why we were discussing many of these things with your government going back into your 1940s and 1950s. But they had absolutely no interest whatsoever of informing the public of our presence. We're not talking about personally Adronis talking to your officials, no. But we are talking about many of our associates who we are in connection with, who have been attempting to talk to your governments and saying that we want to be able to share ourselves with the world. We want every man, woman, and child to be aware of us. Oh no, we cannot do that. All we really want is an exchange of technology. All we really want to look into the idea is how we can get an upper hand of our enemies in the East. That's really what their own interest was all about. They were not interested in the idea of cosmic brotherhood, cosmic sisterhood coming together. They were interested in seeing how they could utilize technology to remain themselves as a superpower. So, it's not just the United States of America that we talk to. We talk to several different government key personnel throughout the entire planet. What you would know as the common superpower nations. And pretty much all of them said the same thing. No, we want to have technology because we want to have the upper hand. They had no interest whatsoever in having us being able to reveal ourselves to you. But this is very much how we decided to firstly approach this through the official channels. We were not looking to rock the boat here. If it truly was up to us altogether, we would have introduced ourselves to you a great deal of time ago. But the earth has a plan. The earth also has a cosmic plan. And therefore we are abiding in the nature of that cosmic plan, because it flows far past the physicality of life. It moves much more deeper into the higher planes of reality, to where everything governs the nature of the respect of the logos of the earth and the cosmic plan. And that it therefore was not time. But nonetheless, we needed to knock on the door. We needed to knock on the door of humanity. We wanted to let you all know that we are here, and that we are here to assist you and to help you. And we want to introduce ourselves to you because we are family to you. And that is something in that sense that is attempted to be hidden from your media, from even your own entertainment industries regarding us. In fact, if you look at a lot of entertainment on your planet, you're always thinking that there's evil aliens that are trying to blast you and annihilate you off the entire planet, which in our particular perspective is nothing but idiotic. Because that's not what's happening. That has never even really been the case going back many thousands of years. Believe us when we say that there are highly advanced civilizations that have been aware of your planet for many thousands and thousands of years. And if they wanted to annihilate you all from the planet, it would take very little effort to do so. So that is not the case at all. And this is what, in fact, many of you humans fear. That when there's some type of extraterrestrial encounter that will take place, a type of contact, you think that we're going to betray you and wipe you all off the planet. And that again is, as we say from our perspective, that is idiocy. That is not what's happening. We have been aware of this planet far before humanity ever set foot on it. We have been well aware of you since the first day that you set foot on this planet. Do you really think it was in our interest to annihilate you? Or any of our associates to annihilate you? Never. That has never been the intention, but that is what creates scarcity. That's what creates fear and control. And that's basically what they wanted to paint a picture of. No, many of these extraterrestrial races just talk about peace, love, harmony, oneness, connection, and they want to share that with the entire world, with their family here on Earth. We can't let that happen, because then we won't be able to control the population. We won't be able to further our businesses. We won't be able to further our resources. We won't be able to further our plans. And that's why it was all opposed. Either offer us technology or get out was basically the common response, going back into the 1940s and the 1950s. Offer us something or leave. And they would only basically deal with certain beings that had technology to share, and that there would be appointed deals made by those beings that are really not the type of beings that you want to interact with, because they are much more materialized than anything else. But fast forwarding again further, as we go into the idea of post-first contact, you are going to be informed of these happenings. That it was very much your governments of the world that prevented us from attempting to communicate with you going back hundreds of years, even thousands. Because we wanted to get to know you from the start, and in your earlier times, you were aware of us, but you only saw us as gods. Even though we were trying to explain to you, no, we are as you are. And you simply bowed your head and worshipped us as the sky people, as the gods of the heavens, when that is not what we were attempting to teach you. But throughout the centuries, throughout many millennia, you have learned in the idea of worshipping these other particular beings that would impose themselves as us. And you would therefore bow your head and you would grovel before them, because you would see them as the sky people, you would see them as the gods of the heavens, and you would want to give everything to them. That's really where a lot of these ancient encounters began. Beings who were not of the first to connect with you, but basically created an imposter situation to feel like they were the first to visit you when they were not. The original early contacts came from a blessing. It came from a blissful state. Yes, we are your family, but we are in no way superior to you. And that was our original message to the earlier dawn of humanity. And that is going to be our message that we're going to repeat to you again. Yes, we are from the cosmos. Yes, we live very, very differently from how you live, but we are in no way superior to you. We are here because, number one, you have asked us to. Number two, we are happy to help. And number three, we're happy to simply assist you. Not to do this work for you, but to assist you. And this is where we will, through continued collaboration, work together. But you still have a lot of inner work for yourselves to do. That cannot be done for you. The development of your people needs to continue and prosper. You will have our help, but we're not here to do it for you. There is never a point of interference. We will say, okay, humans, step aside. We'll take care of all the technology. We'll take care of all the vehicles. We'll take care of all the infrastructure, and you just stand by and watch. Doesn't happen that way. We are here to assist you, to guide you, to help you. And then as you start to build and to grow and to learn, you will realize that the technological and sociological and political and all forms of increments that make your human civilization expansive has been done by you. We are no more different than a tutor. We are no more different than a type of mentor that is helping you out. It's like a parent working together with their child, not doing the work for them, but telling them this is what you can build, this is what you can create. Have you thought of doing it this way? Have you thought of doing it that way? And that's really what we're here to do. It very much is a soft approach. We can show you things if you want us to show you things, but we want you to put it together. That's the idea. And so you will develop yourselves technologically in regards to, shall we say, marvelous technology that, again, is self-aware. It is not what you would refer to as your nuts and bolts digital technology. You are basically going to develop spacecraft that will become self-aware. We're not really talking about artificial intelligence here. It may start off in that way, but it's going to move into a greater states of consciousness. You are going to learn at some particular point how to develop living vessels, living spacecraft, because that is very much the common nature of how many of our star family, shall we say, occupy the stars, are through vessels that are alive. We're not talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about living vessels. Vessels that represent their own consciousness, self-awareness, and intelligence. You speak to them as if they are a person, as they are a being. So it's a little bit further down the road, but you will start to work more so with artificially intelligent spacecraft. And then you will work your way up into working with living spacecraft. And the living spacecraft is taking it to the next level. It's where you are realizing your interconnectedness to all things, because that is something else that we are going to be teaching you. It's not like your Star Trek show, where you're just jumping on board a ship and you're just traveling across the galaxy when you have no idea about how life itself works. That is very much fictional. For you to therefore be a part of the cosmos, you have to see all life as yourself. We're not saying that you need to go on a deep spiritual journey, but you're realizing how everything is interconnected together with you. You are working together with refining the physical, emotional, and mental bodies. You are being aware that how, through the nature of surrendering yourself and being still, you are able to grasp the entire nature of all that lives, that all that exists, that the universe is itself. Therefore, you will see every single being you come in contact with as yourself. And that's the idea. In fact, there are many different civilizations that are not very much on what you would know as the yogic journey. They are not on the journey of the sage. They are not on the journey of the oracle. But basically what they have done is they are on the journey of the adept. And what the journey of the adept represents is that they are aware of their physicality, their emotionality, their mentalities together in a very pristine form. They are able to easily reverse their age. In fact, it's very, very common for seeing such beings that do appear as young adults that are thousands of years old. You will be able to have the same. There will be many of you who will look like you're in your teenage years or young adult years, and you will therefore have thousands of years of experience through you. What you often call as your medical beds, your regeneration beds, will become a normalcy. You will have that on spacecraft. You will have that on orbital platforms. You will have that on Earth. In fact, it will reach a particular point where none of you will basically age into an old man or an old woman anymore. You will be able to have an entire planet full of young-looking bodies, but again, humans that are aging correspondingly. So again, you may have a 100-year-old human who looks like an 18-year-old. You may have a 150-year-old woman who looks like a 21-year-old. This is very much your future. We understand many of you are quite excited about these medical beds, these regeneration beds. That is going to be a part of your future. But in order for that to come together in mass, everything that is completely contradicting that particular type of technology has to go. And that is commonly referred to as your pharmaceutical industries. Because they will be the clamp that is preventing that from being rolled out. Does the technology exist? Of course. In fact, it's very, very natural for you to go on board spacecraft and see technology like that, where you would simply step into, quite commonly, a pod. You would lay down in this pod. You would go into a form of suspended animation. There would be a short duration of time that could go through minutes or hours, depending upon the nature of transformation that is looking to be intended. And you come out of that pod looking like a young man or young woman. And beforehand, you are 65, 70, 80 years old. And it happens in a very, very short amount of time. It's an accelerated state of healing. Very common on board many spacecraft to the associates that are with us. In fact, it's even your own Earth governments that has possession of such technology. It was given to you. But again, many of the, shall we say, corrupted leaders were never allowed to touch it. They were able to see it, but they were never able to have access to it. They were denied. But they have seen this particular type of technology. They desperately wanted it, but they said, nope, this is not for you. You start introducing the entire population to the star ancestors, and maybe we'll think about it. And they couldn't do that. They didn't want to give up their power, because they were very much aware of the type of technology that we possess. They asked for it. We showed them the type of technology that we have. We told them about Stargate technology. We told them about, as you say, regeneration beds. We told them about the idea of reversing age. We told them about the type of spacecraft that we have. They were interested in it all. Say, well, that's not really how it works. You let us talk to humanity, and we will at times introduce this in scope through transitional, shall we say, momentum. And they denied that. Nope, we want it right now or no deal. So we backed away. We knocked on the door, they weren't interested, we backed away, and we have continued to be in observation with you ever since. But they were very insistent upon this technology. In fact, much of your own secret space program does contain a lot of this technology, but it's a very, very different type of, as it were, animal, as it relates to your own, shall we say, surface-based Earth government. But they're very much aware of what we have. In fact, they've been trying to look for inventors to try and create and replicate this technology. Now, here is what we will say. There is not a single human on your planet that is able to replicate this type of technology currently in regards to how it is on spacecraft. And that is by design. They may have certain ideas here and there, but simply because a lot of the necessity of the elements that are, shall we say, essential for the development of this regeneration bed, to the degree of how it works commonly on spacecraft, is not available to you. There are other particular forms of alchemical formulas that can be introduced to the natural elements of your Earth, but they need to be synthesized in a certain way. Now, some may contain the knowledge, but they do not have the affordability of being able to bring this out. And again, that is by design. You will have certain forms of technology that will, again, introduce it to a certain degree, but it will not go to the level in that sense of what is available commonly on spacecraft. Even with what Brad has with Etherics is a very different type. It's very effective. It's very powerful. But it's not in relation to what we are talking about here. We are talking about living regeneration beds. The ability for you to go into suspended animation and suspend time. To actually work with magnetic fields that you can erect around the regeneration chamber and actually halt time. None of you have been able to do this. It involves the idea of manipulating the magnetic field that correlates to the nature of time. And it basically isolates itself in a morphogenic field around the chamber. That when you actually go in, it's a type of stasis. You're in suspended animation. as you're in suspended animation, everything therefore pertaining to your body is incrementally scanned and therefore reversed in effect. So there is, in that sense, a fluidic structure that takes place in regards to the catalyst of helping to regenerate the body in its entirety. But none of your scientists have even been able to understand what magnetism is, let alone create some type of magnetic field around a chamber isolated to a certain resonance of frequency around a certain object to suspend time. That's required. As well as taking base elements and alchemizing them into appropriate forms of fluids that would therefore serve as particular elixirs to which the bed would therefore, in that sense, implement to the body, so that there could be, in that sense, certain forms of vibrational changes taking place. We're basically looking at different layers of your body being worked on simultaneously. It's not just the physical body. It's the idea, in that sense, of your vital body, your etheric body, your astral body, your emotional body, your mental body. All of these bodies, therefore, are being retuned. So therefore, when you come out of the bed, physically, mentally, emotionally, vitally, you are refined. And so there is not a single human on your planet has been able to do this. And again, as we've said, that is by design. You're getting ideas, you're getting concepts, but you do not have the necessity to get all of these things together. Simply because there's rules, even on your own planet, about someone trying to isolate the magnetic field to stop time. That would create a red alert, and we would say that there would be a lot of unpleasant visitors at your door should you decide to do that. Because basically, if it is done improperly, you can create great forms of, shall we say, lacerations throughout the magnetic field of the earth, and that will get a red alert. So therefore, you will have people at your door who will not be too pleasant with you, because that is being monitored constantly. Fluctuations in a magnetic field will instantly bring attention to that area, to that person who is attempting to do this. And basically, their technology would be seized, and they themselves would be prevented from having any particular type of, shall we say, technology being developed in that way. So, as we stated, at some particular point, you will develop great breakthroughs. You will start to work more with medical beds, regeneration beds, that will help to heal the physical body. That will happen. But it will not be at the level of sophistication that we're talking about pertaining to the regeneration beds or the regeneration chambers that we are discussing here. Because it involves something a great deal more than what is available to you in regards to your current development and in regards to your current era on the planet. To go all the way and to completely refine your entire being. That's what the regeneration beds on the spacecrafts do. It's a lot more deeper than what can be developed on your planet. But we will say you will start to develop what you would know as your medical beds. You will start to work in improving the body. You will even start to work in reversing age. You will also work in being able to regrow limbs. Those will be beds that will be available because they do not require the manipulation of a magnetic field. But the manipulation of a magnetic field is taking you to a deeper level of well-being, a deeper level of restoration. So that's something for, shall we say, your future. But this is very much what you're going to have access to. The cosmic plan for humanity is to go beyond your world and to teach others upon other planets what not to do with their civilization, just as what you had to learn. In essence, you are going to be groomed to become cosmic teachers. You will go to other worlds that will not be as heavily restricted as Earth is, who will actually welcome you with open arms, and they will want you to mentor them. They will want you to come together and help them in learning about the course of their own evolution and how you can help them as a guide, as an assistant, as a tutor, as a mentor. Because as you start to go throughout the galaxy, you're going to continue to be mentored. You will be mentored for a great deal of time. But through the mentoring process of your cosmic plan, you are going to visit other worlds. You are going to see other societies that may again repeat certain algorithms of, shall we say, evolution that you are familiar with throughout your own history. You will see them going into Bronze Ages, Iron Ages, pre-industrial ages, Renaissance ages. You will be aware of these particular types of ages. You will also be aware of the cycles of their development. Your own Indian cultures refer to this as the yugas, what you would know as Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Sat Yuga. Well, you will be aware of those particular types of cycles as well. You will be aware of the type of cycles that they are in to get an appropriation and understanding about what can be done to help them a little bit further. Because there will be certain civilizations that you will meet far down the road that will basically be afraid should you actually appear before them. So you will be mentored about how to appropriately handle certain levels of contact. And not even contact, but intervention. There is what we call as observation, intervention, and contact. You will be aware of all three criteria. When you are in observation, you are performing absolute non-interference, but you are working much more behind the scenes. You are helping with certain forms of shifts. You are helping in regards to balancing out vibrational levels around the planet, around certain areas of the planet, and even beyond the planet, to where again certain vibrational methods are being performed. It's a cleansing period that's taking place. And you will notice that your interaction with other beings will often come much more in the astral rather than the physical, because they're in the observation contrast. When you start moving into the intervention contrast, you may in that sense perform sightings upon the planet. You may have again certain ships that will appear out of pocket dimensions, show themselves for a certain amount of time, and then return back into the pocket dimension once again. Just to again plant a seed into the consciousness of the world that you are observing. And you're just meant to do that. And that in that sense is a type of intervention. There may also in that sense be cataclysms happening upon the planet. There may be interventions coming together to soften those cataclysms, not to completely remedy them, but basically to soften them, to prevent any form of mass loss of life. And you will notice that as you do this, you're realizing, wait a minute, is this exactly what our star family has been doing with us? Yes, completely, 100%. And we had to be very aware of where you stood, of what was appropriate for you to see, for you to witness. Or basically say that this was done so quietly, you just thought it was just a natural occurrence. Well, not really. It's basically that we're helping out, we're helping to soften a lot of the blows that have been coming upon your Earth. Your Earth has had a lot of blows, a lot of them. There were basically forms of volcanic eruptions that if nothing was done, it would involve the idea of sinking of different islands. It would involve the idea of great cataclysms that would create tremendous earthquakes that would be monumental upon your Richter scale. There would be tsunamis that would be taking place that would in that sense engulf a great deal of landmass when it lands. Many of these have been buffered. Many of these have been softened. But as you have your own secret space program, many of them are also helping out in helping to soften a lot of the, shall we say, growing pains upon the Earth. We help out in different ways, but even your secret space program helps out in many different ways. Their job is also to take care of the Earth because they too have been mentored. But again, they exist on a very, very different level beyond what you would know as your own Earth governments and your own earthly way of life. but they do have to return to Earth at some particular point. Many of you have heard of what you would refer to as a 20 and back. In a way, that's true. That they basically have some particular type of service for a certain amount of time, and they are therefore deposited back upon the planet at a certain time so that they can live their Earth life. Earth life has a very strict contract. You need to experience Earth for a certain degree of time while you're here. So this is why they're performing their duties right now. Once their service is up, they will go into a type of loop, where that loop will deposit them back upon the planet, where they will be able to live their life fully, having very little memory about what they did in the secret space program. There are some certain informants that have come together who have talked about this. We will validate that that is true. That is actually a very true occurrence. There are those in that sense who do have memories, some form of memories, relating to be on other planets, relating to seeing themselves wearing a uniform, relating to seeing themselves being on board ships, relating to those seeing other different species and working together along with the Earth or even along the solar system or elsewhere. So that would in fact be a confirmation. So many of you refer to that as a 20 and back occurrence. That would be correct. All right? So getting back into the nature of the cosmic plan of humanity. As you start to learn more about other civilizations, other races, as you go to different planets, as you learn about the three criteria, representing the nature of observation, intervention, and contact, they will all come at their appropriate timings. You will learn to understand a lot more about the cycle of civilizations. It is another level to you realizing the God within yourself. Even other civilizations are attempting to understand this, but humanity is so deeply advanced in its capability of understanding these things. In fact, there will be many things that you'll be teaching us, your own mentors, because humanity learns so fast. This is why your universal body is the most powerful universal body in existence. Humanity really does wow us at times. How quickly you're able to change, how quickly you're able to adapt, how you're able to go through all of these intense experiences so quickly and come out of them is nothing but incredible to many of us. We are amazed by what humanity can do. In your own lingo, it blows us away. We're absolutely astonished by what humanity can do, by what you're capable of. It is a very rare thing to witness. It's exactly why we've been watching you for quite some time. So we're always fascinated by humanity. And this is why when we come together with Brad and we communicate with him, we are getting to know a lot more about humanity through him and through others that wish to communicate with us, but primarily through him, because him and Adronis are one. But again, this is what truly is fascinating to us, about how quickly you're able to change, about how quickly you're able to evolve, about how quickly you're able to act. You may have to wait until things go off into the red, but then you act and you change, and your changes are absolutely profound. It blows us away. This is why we love you so much. Because humanity is something truly special. And because you're so special, this is why you have so much attention coming upon your world. That is extremely unheard of. On other worlds, doesn't get that much attention. There may be, again, dozens of different species that will look at this world and will observe in regards to its culture and its evolution, and it's quite fascinating. When we come to Earth, when we look at humanity, well, that is, as you would say, an analogy, filling up the seats of a rock concert to watch the rock star come out on stage so that we can celebrate their presence. That's what it's like when we look at the Earth. It gets so much attention. You humans are so incredibly fascinating. We're amazed by what you can do. We're amazed at how you behave. We're amazed at the development that comes through each of you. And we want you to know how many beings are so deeply appreciative of these divine souls coming into these bodies and doing the work that needs to be done here on this planet. We want you to know how deeply we appreciate you for the work that you have decided to do, because Earth is not for everybody. It's not for everybody at all. It is the bravest of souls that come here. It is the wisest of souls that come here. It is those who want to go all the way to God that come here. And if we look at that in retrospect to all the species that exist in the universe, it is less than a morsel. It is less than a crumb. But every single one of you have come here because you want to get closer to God. This is why we say at some particular point, you're going to be teaching us. You're already teaching us in many different ways. And we are still quite astonished that you are able to do what you're able to do through the human form. It is truly captivating. It is truly astonishing. Pat yourselves on the back, humans. You have no idea of the deep work that you are doing just by being on the earth as the bravest and wisest of souls. It truly is astonishing. But as you continue throughout your cosmic plan, you will realize how life works to a grander degree on an interstellar level, on a dimensional level, on levels that move up into such greater heights that we really cannot explain to you through words. It is an enriching of your being to helping you understand the ways of life so that you can work together through those waves of life, through the different planets that you will visit, through the different civilizations that you will meet, through the different galaxies and different domains that you decide to grace with your presence. You are going to have an enrichment of knowledge. You are going to have an enrichment of experience that cannot be explained through these words. It's so profound. You are returning back to where you belong as a cosmic race. That's your nature. You're not a planetary race by far. Oh no. You're a cosmic race. That's your nature. But you're going through a maturity cycle right now. You have to remember who you are. And for a particular race to be put through what you have been put through shows their greatness. Everything that you have had to go through, the intensities of this planet, the idea of feeling separate and segregated by everybody else, the idea of feeling that you are dealing with great levels of tyranny and chaos and corruption, shows you just how powerful you are, and that you're willing to come here and face all of that face to face. There are few beings in creation that are actually willing to do that. And you're all doing it. All near 7 to 8 billion of you are doing that. Do you realize that? Do you realize what you're putting yourselves through so that you can grow exponentially? You really need to consider that idea about what you're facing on a daily basis, how you're going through all the challenges of this planet as she evolves herself and she takes you with her. And that you're able to see these things so profoundly, firsthand. It is nothing short of remarkable. And we want you all to know that not just us ourselves, but those who we associate with are always with you. We are always here. We are always happy to assist you just by you calling on to us. And we will help you. Not to do these things for you, but to assist you, to help you, and to guide you. That has always been our nature since the beginning of our interaction with this conduit, going back into the 2008 year. And we want to let you know our deep love, our deep appreciation, and our deep respect for all of you is present. And we want to thank you for this interaction. We will now pause at this time to begin a question and answer period relating to this interaction. We thank you. One moment, please. Okay. Very good. Very exciting information there. Got to take a moment because I was talking quite a bit there. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the questions. So I'm just going to go to the chat. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all here. Thank you for being here. All right, so let's go to the chat and let's see what we got here. Okay, we got a donation here from Big DAG. Big DAG and says, what is the end game with the transgender agenda? Okay, one moment. We thank you very much for your question about what you term as the transgender agenda. Now, in certain degrees, if you're actually looking into your history, you will discover that there has actually been quite a bit of occurrences throughout different cultures that do represent the nature of transgenderism. It's not something new. It goes back into your ancient history. But when there is, in that sense, a surging of attempting to bring that about, it is what you would refer to as a non-binary agenda. The non-binary agenda in that sense is all about, in that sense, attempting to eliminate the nature of gender, to basically undermine the natural process so that it brings about much more of an artificiality to your collective. But again, this is just one of many different things that need to be brought out into the limelight for you to scrutinize, to decide, is this something that we want or is this something that we're going to let go of? As we said, there's nothing unusual about transgenderism. It goes back thousands of years through many different cultures. It is a very natural process. It is an expression of the soul. However, when it's being used in this particular level of, shall we say, being shoved directly into your face, there is an agenda operation here. And it is that agenda operation that is attempting to bring about, shall we say, the lack of expression within yourselves. About the idea of thinking there is no male, there is no female, you should just be in the middle. There's really just the idea of a person. And that you are basically ignoring your femininity and ignoring your masculinity. And basically attempting to move yourself into a non-binary custom. Where basically from that particular point forward, there's going to be the attempt of the extinguishing of emotions. Or the extinguishing of deep feelings. So that you are basically being bred to become a lot more robotic and being much more susceptible to the nature of suggestion. Now, please know that this was an agenda that they have been trying to bring out for quite some time, but it's falling apart. Anything that attempts to restrict your own ability of being yourselves will never succeed. But it's something that needs to come together so that you're all looking at it with great scrutiny and realize, no, this is indeed an agenda and we're going to be standing up against it. We are saying no to it, and you watch its dissolvement happen. So that is primarily what's taking place. We wouldn't really call it a transgender agenda. We would call it much more of a non-binary agenda. There is nothing wrong with transgenderism. As we said, it goes back many thousands of years. But what is actually the agenda here is the non-binary person. The non-binary person is the actual agenda, not the transgenderism. That's a part of it. But it goes a lot more deeper to that, where basically they would want to have the remaining amount of the population of the earth really acting no more different than mechanical men and women and children. To be very mechanical, to be very susceptible, to basically breed emotions out of you. This goes back into the nature of what you would term as the Greys. The Greys themselves would basically consider themselves to be non-binary because they did not have any reproductive organs. And that basically would have been a part of their plans for the non-binary person, is to basically breed the ability for you to reproduce. To breed out the ability for you to have emotions. To breed out the ability for you to have deep feelings. For you to be much more cybernetic and non-binary more than anything. It is much more the philosophy of the ones that we termed as the Greys. because that's very much how they operate. There basically is no sex between them. They were able to genetically remove a lot of their own reproductive systems and basically function much more in the idea of clone bodies. And that is, of course, where it would lead to. But look what happened to the Greys. With their own version of Earth, it was completely annihilated by war. And that they lost the ability to reproduce, and basically their entire species is nearing extinction because of the ignorance that they have. They were so against the idea of God. They thought themselves to be just the creators, and that's it. And that's what they're attempting to do, to take humanity down that course, because they have had a lot of influence with your own governments, because they have been the ones that have been the most prolific in delivering technology in exchange for agendas. So the non-binary agenda in its own root actually emerges from the beings that you would know as the Greys. But again, you will see it for what it is, and you will stand up against it. And it will be one of those many agendas that will not see the light of day for much longer. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Big D, for your question. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. This one here is from Little Possibility. Little Possibility says, question, so where do we come from? Can you reveal a little, just a little, or more? Okay, no problem, Little Possibility. Let me just take another glass of water before I bring him back in. Okay, so one moment. We thank you very much, Little Possibility, for your question. So where does humanity come from? Well, you have to understand that it's not about the human body as it is about the soul. Now, we're not trying to be overly religious here. We're not trying to be overly metaphysical here. But the soul has no origin. Its soul is the source. Now, you may refer to the idea of the human body. As we have talked about, the human body is a byproduct of 22 different extraterrestrial races. Now, the human body in itself emerged from a higher plane and descended it down into a lower physical plane. So if you were to understand the original archetype, the original design of the human being, it was not physical at all. It needed to be brought down. Everything in regards to the creation of the human form came from much higher planes of consciousness. And then it started to envelope itself into the earth plane at some particular point. But it was not the idea of what you would refer to as an Adam and Eve story. In fact, when humanity came upon the planet, there were different types of ethnicities placed upon certain areas of the planet at certain time, very much in groups. And that you basically started off well within the millions. All right? It was not an Adam and Eve story. The idea that there's only 2 humans on the entire planet and that they bred everybody else that made up the entire population of the planet. You do realize that that is impossible? And that the idea of Adam and Eve is much more of an occult story than a literal story. No. Humanity came here upon the planet starting off primarily as female. It was more the females that actually started off as the genesis of the planet. And that they were basically able to, shall we say, give birth asexually. That there was parthenogenesis involved. And that they were basically able to give birth to clones of themselves. And this was done through certain forms of elixir tonics that were taught to humankind in those earlier days. And then as the seed of femininity came upon the planet, the seed of masculinity started to follow. So there were meetings, there were instructions of coming together. They were introduced formally to each other in very sacred ways. So the whole idea in that sense is that the feminine was very much the start of the human race upon the earth for a short amount of time, to where the masculine would be introduced at a later time, simply because the idea of the land of the earth required the feminine nature a great deal before the masculine could show up. This is something that you will notice will occur quite commonly as you look into the genesis of different sentient species that come upon planets. The feminine come first. The masculine comes second. So the females come first. The males come second. Because there is, again, an equilibrium with the land. The earth is basically, shall we say, aggregating herself appropriately for, in that sense, the feminine quality of humanity to come forward, and therefore bring about the masculine at a later time, so that there could therefore be cultivation. Cultivation between man and woman, cultivation pertaining to the binary, representing that of the male and female, the masculine and the feminine coming together, because the feminine needed to basically work together with herself, working and understanding her own feminine qualities, and then at some particular point introduce the masculine. Now, this is very similar to what you would know as the, shall we say, egg within the fetus of the female. That when it begins its state of propagation in regards to birth, all vertebrate embryos pertaining to the nature of the seed, the egg within the female, begins as a female. And that at some particular point, some particular developmental state comes along, and the male chromosome is introduced. And that is what can therefore introduce the male. Well, this is exactly how it happens, is that you have to see the earth as a womb, and that the female emerges first, and then the male comes later. So that is very much how life pertaining to humanity comes upon the planet. We are able to witness this, not able to involve ourselves with it through contact or intervention, but being able to witness this. And it's again looking at many different forms of, we will say, tribes, who in that sense were able to introduce themselves to the masculine counterpart of themselves. And they were not strangers in meeting. As soon as many of the women on the planet were able to introduce themselves to their masculine counterpart, they knew them. They knew each other. There was no separation of saying, oh, who are you? No. They knew each other. It was like the other half of them, and they were able to recognize it. It was a very different time for humanity, going back many hundreds of thousands of years, where again certain tribes, certain groups upon the planet, different ethnicities, would be able to introduce themselves to their masculine counterparts as the feminine remained upon the planet for a short amount of time. Not a long amount of time, but a short amount of time, going into a span of approximately thousands of years, and therefore being able to move into the masculine counterpart that would be seated. You have to understand that Earth works a lot more slowly than the idea of the male and female human bodies, where you basically have approximately 9 months in regards to procreation. Earth works a lot more slowly. It goes well within the many thousands of years. And therefore, the male seed is introduced. So that is how it begins with every single planet that sustains sentient human life. The females come first. The males come second. All right. We hope that answers your question. Thank you. Okay. That was fascinating. Very good there. So thank you, Lopez, but it was a great question. So let's go down. Adronis always likes to throw extra stuff at you. That's his nature. Okay, let's go to the next question here. Sensei says, can you talk on the Antarctica trip undertook by Admiral Richard Byrd and what happened? We can't. Yeah, we can't really go into that, Sensei. It's stuff that needs to be kind of kept secret for now. Now, Adronis has talked about certain things pertaining to Antarctica. We really can't reveal a lot of stuff there. It's kind of like as soon as you ask that question, it's like, nope, we can't talk about it. Can't discuss it right now. Okay, that's something maybe for the future, but other events need to take place right now before you can get any kind of intelligence pertaining to that stuff. Okay, so that's why we can't really talk about it. Okay, other things need to happen first. Okay, so let me just go down the list a little bit more. Okay, this one here is from Jana of Appreciation, and they ask, Brad and Adronis, could you do a small guided meditation with purpose to feel our interconnection to everything. Thank you. Okay, it's very, very simple. We can do that right away. Okay, so we'll probably take about 3 more questions, guys, and we're going to go into distance healing. Okay, so if you guys do have any distance healing requests, either for yourself or for somebody else, you can feel free to put that in the chat, and I'll do 3 of those. We'll end with a group healing and conclude today's webcast. Okay, so after this one, we'll do 3 more Q&As, and then distance healing, group healing, and then conclusion. All right, here we go. All right, we thank you very much for your intention and request about bringing forward a simple guided meditation that helps you to understand your interconnectedness to all things. For those of you who wish to participate, we ask you right now to be seated. You do not need to cross your legs. You can simply sit in a chair, but we wish for you to be seated for this meditation. And we would like you now to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out through the nose. And relax yourselves. We ask you now to feel the physical body. We ask you to start at the top of your head and to feel the scalp, the hair upon the scalp, if there are hair present. Moving further down and feeling the base of the skull. Feeling the entire skull cap. And feeling the brain inside the cranium. To feel your sensory organs, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, your tongue, your skin. Feel it deeply. And to scan your body as you continue to go downwards through the throat, feeling the esophagus, feeling the thyroid gland, feeling the thymus gland, feeling the beating heart, feeling the rhythm of the heart, feeling its presence with you as you are one with its rhythm. Feeling the lungs as they breathe in and breathe out. Feel them expanding, feel them contracting. Be one with their rhythm of breath. Feel the stomach as it digests the food and liquids that you put into it. Feel its chamber of stomach acids, of glands. Feel the lining of its walls, knowing that the stomach is the first organ to where everything foreign is broken down and assimilated to the point of nourishment for the rest of the body. Feel the liver, the large filter of your body, helping to clear away toxins, helping to do its job to keeping your body pristine and in good shape. Feel its rhythm. Feel the rhythm of the pancreas below the stomach. Feel the rhythm of the spleen left to the stomach. Feel the kidneys as you go down. Feel the intestines as you move down. And also feel the spine. Feel the erectness of the spine as you move your way down the body. This powerful column, this antenna of the body. Feel your reproductive organs. Feel your hips, your legs, the muscles, the tendons, the tissues, the bones, the bone marrow, the joints of the body. Feel them all together like they have their own song, and you are able to tune in to their song. Scanning yourself all the way down to the bottom of the feet, being aware of your toes, being aware of your feet, being aware of the heel of the foot, right down to the bottom, to where your foot touches the ground. Now we ask you to feel the ground, to feel an object. If you are sitting on the chair, we want you to feel the entirety of the chair based upon how your body is sitting upon it. And we want you to feel the ground to which the body, through the chair, is stationed upon. That you are feeling the hardness of the ground. That you feel the solidity of the ground sustaining you, stabilizing your posture as you sit upon this chair. And expand your awareness even further so that the entire space that you occupy is familiar to you. That you are able to feel the walls that surround you, the doors that surround you, the ceiling that surrounds you, the floor that surrounds you. You are able to feel the air around you. You are able to feel every molecule that exists within the air. You are able to feel every atom that exists within your space. And you are feeling like you are creating a bubble, and that this bubble expands further and further and further outwards. And that the land that you feel, you are able to feel its rhythm. You are able to hear its song. With every blade of grass, with every grain of dirt, with every shrub, with every bush, with every tree, with every singing bird, with every human being, with every animal, you are able to pick up their rhythms. Because their rhythms are what you are familiar with, just like with your own body. That you feel its rhythm, that you are aware of its pulse, that you are aware of its song. And you feel this expanding more and more as you widen the bubble and as you hear the songs. And as you look deeper, you see that every living thing contains a cord. And that cord is connected directly to the center of yourself, to your center point. Do not feel that you must discover a location. Just know that the center point is the nexus that is corded to all life. And through those cords that are connected to your center, you can feel their subtle rhythms. You can feel their subtle vibrations. You can feel their songs playing so delicately and so subtly through the cords. And you can feel numerous chords through your center being gently reverberated with that subtle vibration. And as you tune in deeper to the subtle vibration of those chords, you're able to see the soul. As you tune into those chords, you are able to see the strands of life. You are able to feel the essence of life through those strands. You may feel the breath. You may feel the heartbeat. You may feel the rhythm of the living form. You may feel the dance and the song of that particular living being. What does that tell you? I have never been alone. I have never been segregated by a physical body. I'm able to tune in to all life. I am able to feel the earth very slowly move and orbit. I am able to hear the mountains singing. I am able to hear the oceans singing. I am able to hear the land around me singing. and all life upon the land singing. Through these gentle, subtle reverberations that I feel. And it is beyond beautiful. And it is through this that you know that you are interconnected to all life. There is nothing within life that you are not connected to, even with what you term as artificial. Your own computers and your own device are still a part of life. They still have a magnetic field. They do not have organs. They don't have living organic properties. Some may, but again represent refinement. But they are still a part of the earth because it was through the earth that all of this was constructed. They too still share the rhythm of the earth. And that chord, even through your computer, even through your device, is there. If it was not, it would not even exist. You are connected to everything, natural and artificial, organic and inorganic. It is all life. It is all consciousness. And so remember to tune in to the songs, to tune in to the rhythm, to tune in to the subtle vibrations as you simply expand yourself out, beginning with your body, feeling the songs of your organs, of your glands, of your cellular body, of everything that makes up the lattice work of this human form, where you are able to hear the song of the body and expand out more, and expand out more, and expand out more, realizing that you are able to hear the song of all. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and we will now conclude this meditation for you. Thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for your question. We do have to kind of hurry here. I do only have about maybe 20 minutes left before I do have to get going. So let's go down the list and see if I can maybe answer a couple quick questions. Okay, this one's from Carol Ann. Carol Ann says, "Hi Brad, I have a question regarding the white light healing method. If we have multiple healings needed, do we have to do the technique for each healing we need? You may want to look into combination. You may want to combine everything together, right? As long as you're able to focus on multitudes of things at once, then you can basically utilize them all in one go, in one method, okay? But it's up to you. If you feel that you want to just do things one at a time, you can. But if you want to culminate them, if you want to accumulate them, if you want to amalgamate them together into a single practice, you can do that as well. It's all based upon what you're capable of. That's the answer to your question. All right? Thank you. Okay. I'm going to see if I can take a question that I haven't had, that I have from a person I haven't talked to yet. Okay, so... okay, this one here is from Dynamite5555, is it? Yeah, Dynamite555. Adronis, I'm perplexed as to why medbed for healing would be needed. I thought we have the ability to heal ourselves. I feel it would be doubting my abilities, helping to clarify this for me. All right, one moment. We thank you very much for your question. Now let us ask you a question based upon the question that you have given us. You have a vehicle, do you not, that takes you to and fro different places. Now, do you need that vehicle? Not really. I could get out of my house and I could walk. I could go there. It might take me a little bit longer of a walk for me to go where I need to go, but I know if I hop in my vehicle, I'm there relatively quickly. You see? There is nobody that is contradicting your ability and your capability to walk to a certain place. Yet you decide to get into a car, start the engine, and drive to that particular location. Why did you do that? Oh, because it saves me time. I feel like I'm able to get that done quickly, and I can therefore enable myself to do other things afterwards. Now, All technologies simply serve as a nature of convenience. That's their nature. Now, technology can help you in many different ways as well. Its ability to assist you to be a convenience is helping you to understand through yourself what you can do through yourself. But the reason why these technologies exist is because they are actually showing someone who may not be aware that these technologies exist what it can actually do for the body. Adronis, with everything that technology does, can I do myself even greater? But the whole idea is that if you do not have a rapport and relationship with that particular type of healing, you will never know how to utilize that through yourself. You see, it is absolutely possible for all of you to move into a certain state of being where you are able to work together with the purest of light and heal yourselves completely. But the whole idea is that the very light minority of human beings on this planet actually know how to do this. And so when you start to introduce technology to helping you understand how healing can go even further and even deeper, utilizing a technological apparatus that you are discovering through the collective, you are now educating yourself and saying, well, now I see exactly how this technology works. I see the rays involved. I see the nature of the technology and its aspects, its counterparts together to see how it is involved to heal. So maybe I will take it to the next level and go deeply within myself, working with a similar process where I can heal myself just like that, and you do it. You see? It is not any way, any shape, any form that we are saying that you are incapable of doing this healing yourself, but you are not familiar with the type of healing that is being done. And as you are familiar with the type of healing that is done and you understand the inner workings, now for someone who truly wants to work on developing themselves to heal, it can be done because of the rapport of the technology showing you exactly what is a capability that you can now start to emulate, manipulate, and work with through yourself, and even take it to greater heights than technology can. But you have the knowledge. And here is what we can say with many of you, and we mean no disrespect. Many of you don't have the knowledge to fully heal yourselves. You don't. You have bits and pieces here and there, but you're trying to integrate what is segregation together with what is unity, and it doesn't work. In order for you to bring yourself into a nature of a pristine being, you have to work fully with unity. And to work fully with unity involves being able to get in touch with the collective consciousness, to getting ideas of rapport that are helping you deeper into that nature of unity, because very few of you on this planet can actually heal yourselves completely. You may be able to do some work partially, but that is not complete union. So this is why we suggest you talk to your collective consciousness, that you work together with those who are able to perform it spiritually, that you are working with those who are able to perform it energetically, that you are working with those who are looking to perform it organically, perhaps through herbs, through medicines, through elixirs. And there are those who are also working on it technologically. And you are opening yourself up to the nature of the premise where you are absorbing all of those ideas together, so that this moves you further into the nature of bringing yourself into complete healing through unity. You cannot heal yourself through segregated mentality. And that's what many of you try to do. You say, oh, Adronis, I can heal yourself, then go ahead. But you can't do it. You may be able to do it partially, but you have not been able to come into that union nexus, that nexus of unity, that source center that brings you into union. And we've always talked about the nature of surrendering here, because that's what's helping you to get into that union. But through that union, you are being aware through the collective consciousness of being educated about what needs to be done to heal yourself, because you are part of looking at life through instrumentation, through bodies, through forms, through shapes, through colors, through light, through vibrations, through energy. And many of you still do not understand how it works. Can any of you explain magnetism? Can any of you explain the ether? Can any of you explain light synthesis? Can any of you explain what a star is? Can any of you explain how a galaxy works? Can any of you explain how the higher planes operate? Many of you would say no. And that is why your healing is partial and not complete, because you have not entered the unified field. You have not entered the source point. And you move more deeper into the source point where all of this knowledge is brought to you. Everything of what you want to know to heal yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, astrally, etherically, spiritually is given to you, because you have moved into union. You have moved into the center point. So, technology is in its own way not attempting to replace consciousness. It can't. It's consciousness that brought technology forward. But the whole idea is that technology is something that you can learn from, because you're not allowing yourself to get all of the appropriate information that's helping you come into union rather than segregation. So as you are open to these ideas, as you study them, as you're witnessing them, you're now coming up with new ideas that's bringing you closer and closer and closer to union rather than segregation. Technology can help you with that. Organics can help you with that. All right? Everything pertaining to life can help you in all the ways it wishes to express itself. Do not feel that technology can be a burden to you. If you overuse it, if you abuse it, it certainly can. But if you respect in the nature about the one who has created the technology and what they're trying to do, and you are observing the technology, you are coming in with greater knowledge that is moving you much more into the harmony of union. And it is through union with the divine, union with source, that the totality of healing itself can be acclaimed. All right? We thank you for your question. Okay. All right, guys, we're running out of time, so I do need to get into healing right now. I'm not even too sure if I have time for that, so I'm going to have to be a little bit quick here, because I'm running out of time here. Okay. Okay, I think I'm probably just going to do about 1 or 2 people, because that's really all, in honesty, I have time to do for today. Okay, it's been a little bit of a long broadcast. Time just flies. Okay, so this one here is from Liliana. Liliana says, requested healing for my heart. Thank you. Okay. And then I'll move on to Shine Like a Rainbow. I'll do a healing for you, and then we'll move on into group healing. Okay. So Liliana, yes, I will go ahead and work with you. Okay. So what I want you to do, Liliana, is just join me here right now. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Placing your hands upon the center of your chest, taking another deep breath in, deep breath out. And one more time, deep breath in, and deep breath out. And now I want you to tune into your heart and feel your heart opening up like a blossoming flower, and just bringing your hands in prayer posture, feeling all of that light from the heart coming in between the palms, and expanding the light out. Just extending the hands as far and wide as they go as you inhale and exhale, and just bringing that light back into yourself as you say to yourself the following: I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. And bringing your hands back into prayer posture. You can either keep them on the lap or you can keep them here, whatever you prefer. And we will go ahead and begin with heart healing. Here we go. So Liliana, just stretching your hands out once again. Now I want you just to bring your hands slowly towards your heart. As you're bringing your hands slowly towards your heart, you're just saying to yourself, God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better. And I am one with the unified source. I am one with the unified source. Snap your fingers. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and relax. Okay? So I want you just to keep an eye on your heart for the next few days. Notice how there may be some subtle changes coming together as you go to sleep. Okay? So a lot of that energy is now being neutralized, and it's going to be transmuted so that everything that once harmed your body is now going to work to helping and healing your body. Okay? So that's the transitional process over the next several days that you'll be experiencing. All right? Love and blessings to you. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll go to Shine Like a Rainbow. This is, again, just the last person individually who I'll do, and then we'll do a group healing. So I got to get going here pretty quick. Shine Like a Rainbow says, healing please for Suvan and all who are suffering. Okay, well, I can't do it for everybody. Shine Like a Rainbow, okay? So it doesn't work that way, okay? When you're working together in a group capacity, you can basically shine your light upon the other world, upon everybody in the world, right? If you're also doing it much more on a surface-based level, you're kind of just coating the entire world and you're coating that energy with everybody. But as everybody is different and they all have their own unique qualities, for me to do it for everybody who is suffering, shine like a rainbow, that is impossible. Okay, so we can work together with Suvan, and when we do a group healing, again, I'm inviting everybody who wants to come in for the group healing to help them. Okay, but we're not here for one person to fix everybody. Okay, that would be a distortion. But sometimes I can work with 1, 2, maybe 3 people at once and help them out. But working with everybody that's suffering, where you're talking about 85 to 90% at least of the population, and that's a little bit too much of a big payload for me to work with. Okay, so why don't we just work together with Suvan right now? So I wasn't too sure what Suvan's condition is, so I'm just going to do a general healing for Suvan, and for yourself too, shine like a rainbow. Okay, so I'll just refer to yourself as rainbow, and for Suvan, and I'm just going to do a general healing on both of you. Okay, and we'll work that way. All right, so bringing your hands together, and I'm just going to be connecting with Suvan as well too, with his higher self. Higher self is present, and rainbow, you can be with me here. So expanding your hands, letting all of that light shine out, letting it permeate the vastness of the cosmos, bringing the hands back together, saying to yourself, I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. Okay? So I'm going to be working on both you, Rainbow, and Suvan. All right, here we go. Okay, so Rainbow, just stretching out your hands, just feeling the higher self of Suvan doing the same. Just bringing that light back into yourselves and just saying to yourselves, I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me, and God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better, and I am one with the unified source. Snap your fingers. Okay, deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, So for Rainbow and Suvan, general healing was done on you. Okay, so it's just a general concentration of working together with your organs, because I wasn't getting any specific areas for me to work on. So we just worked on the entire body for the two of you. All right, love and blessings to you both. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. So now we're going to move on into group healing. All right, so what I want you to do right now is just remain seated. If you're seated right now, good. If you're not seated, see if you can find a chair nearby, or maybe sit on the floor, whatever you feel is comfortable. Okay. And all I want you to do right now is I want you just to feel that green horizontal beam as you do a scan on yourself. Okay, so I want you just to feel that green beam just scanning your body. And I want you to be aware of anything physical, mental, or emotional that may arise as you're scanning your body from head to toe. And what you're going to do is you're going to gather that together just into a ball. Okay, so you're just holding a ball in between your hands once you finish the scan. Everything that you've felt that is disharmonious to yourself, that you're ready to clear out, that you're ready to let go and surrender. Okay, just feel that siphoning itself, moving itself directly into this energy ball, this chi ball that you're holding in between your hands. Okay, just fill that ball up as much as you can. If you need to make it a little bit bigger, make it a little bit bigger. If you need to make it a little bit smaller, make it a little bit smaller. Okay, feeling all of that energy gathering into the ball. Okay, and I want you to see that ball right now as it's full of black liquid. Okay, the black liquid, kind of like a tarry liquid, is basically what's filling the entire ball. So what I want you to do right now is I want you just to connect with that ball, and you're just working to completely surrender to everything in that ball. Just letting it go, letting it go. And as you surrender, you're watching all of that liquid just starting to dissolve and dissipate and vaporize. Okay, so you're watching all of that liquid in the ball vaporize, dissipate, dissolve. And I'm going to be putting a spirit ball all around you for everyone who is tuning in. So just make that an intention right now that I am tuning in and I am participating with this exercise. Okay, and that spirit ball is going to envelop you. And all I'm doing is I'm just bringing spirit light to bring you into the strength, to bring you into the encouragement and the support that through your power to surrender, you can dissolve everything inside that ball right now. Know that you have the power to surrender. Know that you have the power to let go. Know that you have the power to discharge, dissolve, and vaporize all of that debris that you're now ready to completely let go of. And just seeing it shrink even more, dissolving even more. And when I count backwards from 5 to 1, we will all snap our fingers. As we snap our fingers, we will see that ball completely disappear with everything that was within it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, snap your fingers. Watch the ball disappear. Watch everything pertaining to the physical, mental, emotional debris vibrationally in your body vanish with it. Okay? Now I want you to take a moment now just to feel what that's like. I want you to feel that release. I want you to feel that liberation. Right? With your eyes closed, just take a few moments and just feel that now moment feeling. That you've dissolved it, that you've cleared it away, that you've let this go. I want you just to feel that beauty, that perfection of this moment. As you feel all of that completely released, surrendered to, and let go of. And just be with it. And taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, and I want you to remember that feeling. It's exactly why I get you to abide in it. You want to know what that feeling is like because you'll do anything to go back into that perfect feeling, right? And that's enabling you to surrender more and to let go more and to release more. All right? Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this broadcast today. I had a wonderful time with all of you. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as well, too. And I will speak to you again next time. I'll be back on, I don't think I'll be doing it Friday. I'll see. I'm going to be away on Friday, so I'm not too sure if I'll be able to do a Q&A with Adronis this week. I'll let you guys know, but one will be coming up within the next few days. All right, so I'll let you know when that one's happening. And again, more videos to come here very, very soon. Thank you, everybody. Blessings to you all. Namaskar. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And may it be well with you. Goodbye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in to New Earth Teachings on YouTube. Don't forget to check out our websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can do private sessions with me, and also Etherics.co. And through Etherics, you'll be able to pick up your Healing Code Cards body deck, your mind deck, and your energy deck through Etherics. You will also be able to pick up the Etherbed kit. That is also on Etherics as well. Not to mention that you'll also be able to pick up some apparel and accessories that is also available on Etherics. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one. Om Shanti, 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 Namaskar, and may it be well with you.